Hello guys, today we're going to be trying to predict the World Grand Prix first round, so hopefully it goes just as well as the last time we did the prediction video. That was obviously very, very good. I think I got half of them right. I think Alex got a couple more than me. But yeah, so I'm joined with Alex and we're going to try and go through and predict the World Grand Prix first round. So this is double in, double out, best of 3 sets, first to 3 legs in the sets. But yeah, let's go through and let's start off. Alex, how are you, mate? Are you good?
Yeah, doing really good. How's yourself?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Right. So shall I start? We'll alternate who starts, but I'll start with the first one. So the first game we've got is Luke Humphries versus Nathan Aspinall. I think this one could go either way. I think this has definitely got the potential to be a close one. I'm going to say 2-1, but I'm gonna back Luke Humphries. I just think his doubling's really good, and I reckon he's going to double in pretty quickly. So my first prediction is going to be Luke Humphries to beat Nathan Aspinall 2-1. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good shout. You look at Luke Humphries, world number one, his record in the World Grand Prix 2 years ago, he won it. That was his first major title. Last year, came very close to defending it, lost to Mike Decker in the final. Yeah, it's a tough first round, though. Nathan Aspinall, he's number 23 in the world. He's qualified via the Pro Tour rankings. And I think if you asked anyone watching this, are there 22 players better in the world than Nathan Aspinall, you'd probably say no. So I think that's a bit of a false ranking. I think this is a game that is probably going to go the 3 sets. But like you, I'm going to go with Luke Humphries as well. His record this year against Nathan Aspinall, he's won 7 of the 9 meetings. They've played a lot this year. And yeah, most of the time Luke Humphries has had his number. I think it's going to be the same here.
Yeah, I think we're going to have very much a Alex is going to come with stats and analytics and all sorts, and I'm going to come with just whatever I feel at the time. Next game is Martin Schindler versus Christopher Ratajski. What are you saying on that one?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's another one which, given the short format of this first round, it is one that you can see going the 3 sets. Martin Schindler, he's just moved into the top 16, so he's moved into the seeded positions at the weekend. He was going to be in the Pro Tour qualifiers, but he's managed to get him into that number 16 spot. Christoph Ratajski missed the Grand Prix last year, got back into the Grand Prix this year, so that shows you that his form is starting to turn around. It's a difficult one. I'm going to go with Martin Schindler. I'm going to stick with the seed for this one. Christoph Ratajski, great to see him back involved in these events, but I think the current form, I'm going to go with the German number one.
Yeah, I can't complain too much of that. I am going to back the opposite. I'm going to go Christopher Ratajski on this one. I think the game's going to slow down a little bit. I think it's going to get a bit gritty, and I think Ratajski is going to pull through. So yeah, I'll go 2-1, but I'm going to go Ratajski on that one. Next up, Chris Dobey versus Cameron Menzies. It's always a hard one picking Menzies, whether he's going to win or lose, because you just don't know what Menzies you're going to get. I think if he turns up, he's got a chance, but judging by that, I think the safer bet is going to be Chris Dobey on this one. Short format as well. Chris does sort of come out of the blocks quite quick as well. So yeah, I'm going to go Chris Dobey on this one. I'm just going to go 2-0. I think it's reasonably comfortable, and I think Chris gets the win here. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, all the stats are agreeing with you on this one, particularly the head-to-head between these two players, 8-1 in Chris Dobey's favour. And these two have met a couple of times in recent weeks, the Euro Tour and the World Series finals. Chris Dobey winning both of those. The World Series, it was a very out of sorts Cammy on that occasion, had a very low average. But the Euro Tour recently went all the way to a last leg decider. So it looks like Cammy Menzies, he's coming back into some form. But like you say, when it comes to the stage game, you're just not sure what Cammy is going to turn up. So I think if you're going to have a wager on it, if you're going to have 50p, you are going to go with Chris Dobey. But I'm going to be different. I'm going to go with Cameron Menzies. I'm looking at the doubles percentages. They are both very close between them this year. So yeah, I think if Menzies can turn up, find his doubles, I think he's going to give Chris Dobey a game. So I'm going to go with the upset on this one and the seed to go out. I'm going to go with Cameron Menzies.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, it's a tough one to pick just because you just don't know what Menzies turns up. I think Chris Dobey's going to probably throw the exact same sort of average throughout the entire tournament, but Menzies could be 110, could be 70. You just never know. But yeah, I like that from you. Rob Cross versus Wessel Nijman. What are we saying for this one, mate?
Again, it's Another hard one to call. I remember when we did our match play predictions and we had Wessel Nijman making his debut against Nathan Aspinall, and he did pull off the upset in terms of the rankings. He did knock out Nathan and had a very impressive debut in Blackpool. Again, another debut for Wessel here at the Grand Prix. If you'd have asked me this maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I'd have gone with Wessel Nijman because he was making some deep runs on the Euro Tour, semi-finals, quarter-finals. Looked like he was going to get that first stage title, but the last couple of weeks on the Euro Tour, he has gone out in the first round, and he's put in some below par performances. And Rob Cross, he's had a bit of pressure on him recently to get into the European Championship. He's had to start going to the Euro Tours again, and he's getting a few results. So I'm going to go with the seed on this one. I'm going to go with Voltage Rob Cross to beat the debutant Wessel Nijman.
Yeah, I'm going to go against you. I'm going Nijman to win this one. I think he's definitely got the game to do it. There's no question about that. But yeah, I just fancy him to do something in this tournament. I feel like this is the tournament where upsets happen, and maybe not shocks or anything, but this is the sort of tournament where someone who you maybe don't expect to do great things can go and do something really good. I could see him getting quite far in this competition if he throws his darts well. So yeah, I want to go against you, but I'm going to say Wessel Nijman is going to be my pick for that game. Next up, Stephen Bunting versus Nico Springer. I think these are the last 2 Euro Tour winners, or the last 2 tournament winners. So it's quite a good draw, this one. I think Nico Springer has got every chance to take it to Stephen Bunting here. He's proved himself quite a few times this year that he's more than capable of doing it. Then again, so is Stephen Bunting. He's been solid all year. World number 4. He was looking like James Wade could have caught him maybe, and then he won the last tournament in the rankings. So yeah, I'm gonna go Stephen Bunting. I'm gonna say 2-1. I'm gonna say it's close. I think Springer makes a good account of himself, but I just think the draw for him is not the nicest. I want to go Stephen Bunting 2-1. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Stephen Bunting as well on this one. But when I saw the draw last night, this was the one that jumped off the page for me. I know we're going to talk about games like Luke Littler's Jan van Veen in a moment, which probably is the one that's going to get a lot of people talking. Gary Anderson against Raymond van Barneveld, a clash of the legends. But I think this is going to be the best game in the first round. As you mentioned, the last 2 Euro Tour winners. Stephen Bunting, he's had a brilliant year. If you take the Premier League to one side, he's been winning titles left, right and centre. Nico Springer, again, you go back maybe 2 or 3 weeks, wasn't in the race for the Grand Prix. I think going into the last 2 events, he needed 2 finals or a title to get in. Goes and wins that title a couple of weeks ago. And yeah, I think if he was to beat Stephen Bunting, you've got a player who's outside the top 64 knocking out the 4th seed. On paper, it is an upset, but I think if it does happen, I don't think many people are going to be too surprised, because Nico Springer, he's a very talented player who's going to go very far in the game. But I think experience is going to come through on this one. I'm going to go with Stephen Bunting like you have there, and yeah, the 4th seed to go through.
Yeah, I like it. Next one is Danny Noppert versus Jermaine Wattimena. What do you reckon?
Again, it's another coin flip, I think, between these 2 players. Danny Noppert made the final on the Euro Tour quite recently. Kind of came out of nowhere because he was losing quite a lot of first games on the Euro Tour, but he had that great run in Budapest. He beat Michael van Gerwen. He beat Luke Littler as well. That was a bit of an upset. Jermaine Wattimena, he's getting back in these major events again after missing them for a little while. He missed the match play for a few years, got back in it this year. The Grand Prix, I don't think he's played in that since 2020, 2021. So again, shows you that he's coming back into some form. I'm going to go with Danny Noppert on this one. I think just that recent Euro Tour final on the form line for me is why I'm going to back him. Jermaine Wattimena, don't think he's had a lot of great runs recently since he won his first title. So I'm going to go with the seed to come through on that one.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to argue this one against Danny Noppert based on recent form, because of that tournament that he had recently done really well, losing in the final of that one. But yeah, I think I'm going to go Noppert as well. I would love to see Wattimena do something. I do like watching him play, really quick, super exciting. But yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm going to go Danny Noppert. Next up, James Wade versus Joe Cullen. I feel like if you could make a tournament that should suit James Wade on a statistical basis, it is the World Grand Prix. He's done well in the past. Coming into this as world number 5, the fifth seed for this tournament. I am going to back James Wade. I think Cullen's coming back into form quite nicely, but I think James Wade's just the experience, the percentage of his doubles that he hits. I think he's just going to be 3 darts in front of Joe Cullen often, based on him going checking in on like 1 or 2 darts, where Joe might do it in 3 here and there. Yeah, I'm going to go James Wade for this one. I'm just going to say 2-0 as well. I think it's going to be fairly confident. As long as James shows up, I think he's rightfully the favourite to win this one. So yeah, back in James Wade. What do you say about this one?
Yeah, James Wade, he is the favourite, rightly so. And like you, I think he is going to come through this one. He's had a great 2025. He's got to the UK Open final. He's got to the World Match Play final. He had a brilliant run in the Unicorn Pro-Am last week as well. So, yeah, I think the form line suggests that he's going to come through. And Joe Cullen, yeah, you know, he's such a tough player to predict what he's going to do this year, because he has won 2 titles on the floor, but both of them have kind of come out of nowhere. And the one that he won most recently, that did put him into the field for the Grand Prix, because before then he was outside the spots and it looked like he was going to miss out. But this is a tournament that Joe Cullen, the last couple of years, I think he's had a semi-final and a quarter-final. So this is one that he does like himself, but, you know, he's coming into it out of the 2 players, the one out of form. James Wade, more consistent, more reliable. I've got to go with the machine to come through this one.
Yeah, James Wade. I do think the Pro-Am win is the sole reason.
Yeah.
If anyone, by the time this video comes out, people won't have a clue what we're talking about. But there was a Pro-Am at the Unicorn launch, and James Wade beat Alex in the final, unfortunately. Next up, we've got Gary Anderson versus Raymond van Barneveld. I'll let you tackle this one first, mate.
Well, yeah, I mentioned it earlier, the clash of the legends, Gary Anderson against Raymond van Barneveld. And looking at Darts Oracle, I use them quite a lot for the stats. This is going to be the 40th time they've met in a PDC competition. So that shows you the longevity of these two. Gary, 54 years old, Raymond van Barneveld, 58 years old. So a lot of experience going to be on that hockey. And Gary, we had the pleasure of being in his company for a little bit at that Unicorn launch last week. He was in good spirits. He, you know, these days he doesn't play a lot of the tournaments. He's withdrawn from a lot of the Euro tours, but when he has turned up to them, he's done very well. He's had a title, a final, a semi-final. The TV this year, he's not had a big run yet. Maybe this could be the start of it. I think Barney, he had some good results the last few weeks to get into this tournament, because it looked like he might miss out. So, you know, he deserves his place in the field, but I think out of the 2 players, I've got to go with Gary Anderson. On his day, he's the one out of these 2 that's going to come through.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's difficult to argue that Anderson isn't probably the stronger player. Obviously, obviously he's the seed out of these 2. Yeah, I would like to see Raymond van Barneveld do something. I would like to see him win this game, to be completely honest. But I just can't see it happening. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm going Gary Anderson. Next up, we've got the world number 2 and the world champion Luke Littler versus Jan van Veen. Interesting game, this one. I feel like Van Veen's known for being a really, really good finisher. So it'll be interesting to see how the check-ins go instead of the check-outs. I think this one goes all the way. I think this one goes 1-1, but I think I'm going to back Luke Littler on this one. I think I'll go Luke Littler 2-1. That's my prediction for this one.
Yeah, you are spot on with the doubles for Van Veen, 46.58% since the start of this season. So that's 8-9 months worth of data, puts him right up there amongst all the players. And he is the best in terms of the finishing this year on the checkouts. And for a tournament like this, when you've got to hit a double at the start and the end of a leg, it can be a big difference. And he's got a nightmare draw there, Luke Littler. You go back to the match play, he ended up playing Luke Humphries, so he's not had much luck with the draws. He is very close to getting in that top 16, so maybe this time next year he won't be playing the likes of Humphries and Littler in round 1, but I don't think it's something that phases him. He knocked out Humphries in the match play. He's had a couple of wins against Luke Littler on the Euro Tour this year. I think he's going to pull off the upset, in quote marks. I think he's going to beat Luke Littler. This is the second time Luke's played in this tournament, lost in the first round last year. And I think that first round can be a bit of a banana skin, best of 3 sets. So he has got to get going straight away. And we saw in the match play, he had some slow starts in the matches in that event, managed to claw it back. If he has a slow start in the first round, he could be going home very quickly. So yeah, I'm going to go with the number 2 seed to go out in the first round. I'm going to go with Jan van Veen to knock out Littler.
Yeah, I don't know when the release date is for the new FIFA game, but it might be out already. I'm not sure. But if it was recent, then there's a there's a good chance he's been playing FIFA instead of darts. Next up, Peter Wright versus Mike Dedeker. What's your thoughts on this one?
It's an easy one, Peter. Right? Yeah, it's tough to justify that one. And when we are recording this, we have got the Players Championships going on in Leicester, and these two actually drew each other in the first round, and Mike won it fairly comfortably, and Peter averaged 74. So yeah, difficult to say that Peter Wright's going to win this one. This is Mike's first game in his title defence. He won the title last year. What a run it was, beating Luke Humphries in one of the best games we've ever seen in the Grand Prix. It was 4-1 up in sets. Humphries pulled it back to 4-4, and you're thinking, oh, Humphries is going to get the job done here. But every credit to Mike Dedeker, won those next two sets and become a major champion. Yeah, I mean, the only way I can see Peter Wright winning this is maybe if the pressure gets to Mike, defending the title for the first time. What's that experience going to be like for him? But I think if we're going off form, if we're going off every other metric, then this is Mike Dedeker's game to lose. But I'm a big Peter Wright fan, and every time he gets in these major tournaments, I say he's going to win it. So I've got to stick with it. Peter Wright to knock out the defending champion.
Yeah, I've got to go Mike Dedeker on this one. I think all of the stats you just listed off does make me think that it's going to be a Dedeker win. I do think Peter Wright's got a chance of taking this one. He has all the experience in the world. He's been playing for such a long time. He's been at the top of the game for a very, very long time. But yeah, I just think defending champion, there is a bit of pressure on that, but I'm going to go Dedeker to win that one. Probably 2-0 to be completely honest. Next up, Gerwen Price versus Ryan Searle. This is quite an interesting one for me. I feel like Gerwen Price is a good finisher, so should check in quite well. I think Ryan Searle is just solid all round. I don't think Ryan Searle's going to let any Gerwen Price celebrations get to him at all either. I'm going to back the upset on this one. I'm going to say Ryan Searle wins this one. I'm going to go 2-1. But I think this has got potential to be a really, really underrated game of darts. And hopefully Ryan shows up. If he does, it should be a good game. But yeah, I'm going to back Ryan Searle. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a game that's probably going under the radar when we do our previews, or other people do their previews of the first round. These two play at a very watchable pace. Ryan Searle gets on with it. Gerwen Price gets on with it as well. I think this is going to be played in a very good rhythm. A game that's, even if it does go 3 sets all the way, it's probably, you're going to end up watching it and going, where did the last 20 minutes, half an hour go? It's going to be a quick game. I'm going to go with Gerwen Price. I'll go the opposite with you. I'll go with Price. Ryan Searle, he did have a good win against Luke Humphries on the Euro Tour at the weekend, but he's not had a big run on TV for a little while. So yeah, I'm going to go with Gerwen Price. He likes this tournament as well. He's won it before. He's got to the final, and I think I said it when we did the match play. He's due a big run on TV, a semi-final, final title, and maybe this could be the week for him. It's going to be a tough opener against Ryan Searle, but I think he's going to come through it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that game, I must admit. Next up, we've got Josh Rock versus Ryan Joyce. Josh Rock's in loads of form. Ryan Joyce is typically a really, really good doubler. What do you reckon?
Yeah, again, another really interesting game. This is actually a rematch of the World Grand Prix first round last year. I think it was one of the first games of the tournament, and Ryan Joyce won it fairly comfortably in the end, 2-0. Fast forward 12 months, Josh is going to be a big favourite, isn't he? He's in the world's top 10. He's had some big runs on TV this year, the match play, the UK Open, the World Series finals, won the World Cup, and this is a tournament all about finishing. And I think one of the big differences for Josh this year is the finishing. He's a lot better at the finishing, and we'll see what he's like at starting legs on a double, because that's a key part of this tournament as well. But if he carries on the finishing like he has been this year, I think he's going to be more than a match for Ryan Joyce. And looking at the finishing stats this year, there's hardly anything between them. And that shows you how much Josh has improved, because we all know Ryan Joyce is such a great finisher, isn't he? So, yeah, I think Josh is going to get revenge for last year. I think he's going to come through this one against Ryan Joyce.
Yeah, I agree. I just think Josh Rock is... I think you can quite comfortably argue at the moment Josh Rock's in the top 3 dart players in the world on recent form. Yeah, so I'm going to say 2-0 Josh Rock as well. I think it's I think it should be on paper quite comfortable, but we shall see. Next up, we've got Michael van Gerwen versus Dirk van Duijvenbode. Van Gerwen's the number 3 seed in this one. Dirk unseeded. I feel like Dirk's got every ability to win this one. I think Michael van Gerwen, I believe he's on holiday at the moment, just coming back from holiday. Could have had a bit of time away from the darts. I think this is a very, very winnable game for Dirk. I'm going to back Dirk. I'm going to say Dirk wins. I'm going to say 2-1. I think Michael van Gerwen goes out here, but yeah, I think this has got potential to be a really, really interesting game. But yeah, I'm going to back Dirk on this one. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I had the upset as well, and I think when we did the match play preview, I was backing Dirk to beat Rob Cross in the first round. Didn't quite happen on that occasion, but I always like watching Dirk van Duijvenbode play. I think he is one of the most entertaining players on the tour. When he gets going, he's a joy to watch. And back in this tournament, he wasn't in it last year, and the World Grand Prix, it's kind of been the making of him, because he made the final of it out of nowhere on debut during the lockdown era of darts in 2020. Since then, not won a game in the World Grand Prix, lost in the first round every year. So it's kind of been all or nothing for him. But I think it has been a decent year for Dirk. You know, I know he's slipped down the rankings a fair bit. I think he's just inside the top 32, but I feel like he's on his way back up, and did beat Michael on the Euro Tour this year. He's not beaten him on the stage for a while. So yeah, I think he's going to get a win on TV against me. I'm going to go with the upset as well, Dirk to knock out Van Gerwen.
I like it. I think that's the first time we've both gone for the upset on these predictions. Next up, we've got Ross Smith versus Daryl Gurney. I'll let you take this one away, mate.
Tricky one, this one. I think if you'd asked me in 10 minutes, I might change my mind. It's one that I've not got a clear favourite or way that I'm going to go with this one. Ross Smith, you know, we all talk about his 180 hitting. That's a big weapon in his armoury. Well, this tournament, you don't get many opportunities to get your 180s, do you? You've got to start with a double, and that takes away one of the scoring options already. But he is pretty decent on his finishing as well on his day. Daryl Gurney, former winner of this title, made I think a semi-final as well. It's a really tricky one. Daryl Gurney, I think I'm just going to side with him because of that World Cup win that he had. I think, okay, he's not had a big run since then, but I kind of feel like he is due something in the singles event. So yeah, I'm going to go with Daryl Gurney. I call him the handicapper's nightmare. I'm going to go with him to knock out the seed and progress to round 2.
Yeah, I think this one is so 50-50. I'm going to go against you merely because I like Ross Smith more. That is literally it. Based on no stats, nothing. I just like Ross more, and I think it's very, very close. So I'm gonna back Ross Smith to win that one. Johnny Clayton versus Andrew Gilding. This one could be interesting. Gilding's he's just a funny player. Andrew, he's so difficult to beat when he's playing well, and he's done some good stuff. I mean, again, he goes under the radar so much. The fact that he's in this tournament just shows that he's playing well. This isn't one of the tournaments you just qualify for because you did something 18 months ago well. It's like it is a form-based tournament, and he's in this for a reason. Saying that though, I'm gonna go against him. I'm gonna say Johnny Clayton wins. I'm gonna say 2-1. I think Andrew Gilding gets a set, but I'm gonna go Johnny Clayton. Although I think I saw the other day Johnny Clayton was up a mountain playing darts somewhere. So I don't know. Maybe hopefully he hasn't got frostbite or anything, because it did look quite cold. But yeah, I'm going to back Johnny Clayton. What are you saying on this one?
Yeah, I've got Johnny Clayton as well, not because he's been climbing mountains, but just how well he's been playing darts this year. He's third on the checkout percentages this year, had the final at the World Masters, final at the World Cup, semis at the UK Open, the match play as well. And the head-to-head actually is quite heavily in Andrew Gilding's favour, 5-1 in Andrew Gilding's favour. So I know we sometimes talk about players having a bogey player. Maybe that could be the case here with Johnny Clayton. Doesn't like playing the slower pace, the more methodical pace of Andrew Gilding. And yeah, I think you're spot on. We don't really know what we're going to get with Andrew Gilding. You go back to the match play. I think you ask 100 people, Damon Heta versus Andrew Gilding in the first round. 95, 96 people are probably going to go with Damon Heta. What does Andrew Gilding do? Throws in a 101 average, knocks out Damon Heta. Next round, 100 average, knocks out Dirk van Duijvenbode. And then the quarterfinals with Luke Littler. One of the games of the year, 16-14 to Luke Littler. But Goldfinger, he had Luke thinking for a little while there towards the end of that game. It was a great game. So if we get that Andrew Gilding, yeah, he could go on a big run. But I think the consistency, the more likelihood is that Johnny Clayton wins this one.
Yeah, and then the last game, we've got Damon Heta versus Luke Woodhouse. Take it away. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've said it for all of them, but given the short race and how the draws worked out, again, it's another tricky one to call. Damon Heta, Luke Woodhouse. Luke just made his first final on the Euro Tour at the weekend in the Swiss Darts Trophy, which was a good run for him, the best he's done so far. And he has beaten Damon Heta in a big game before. They played at the World Championships last year. Damon Heta hit the 9-darter. Luke Woodhouse, he won the game. So I think with Damon Heta as well, it's worth mentioning his record in this tournament. Played it 4 times, lost in the first round all 4 times, and he has had some very tricky draws in this one. And also last year, lost to Mike De Decker in the first round, who went on to win the tournament. Damon did have match darts to win that game as well. So who knows, maybe in another universe, it could have been Damon Heta we're talking about as the defending champion. So that's probably going to be playing on his mind a little bit, that record not winning the game, and Luke Woodhouse getting to that final. I'm going to go with the unseeded player. I'm going to go with Luke Woodhouse to keep that run going for Damon Heta in the World Grand Prix.
Yeah, like you said, his form in this tournament, or his results in this tournament, isn't the greatest. But I feel like if you're one of the top seeds, and this is no offense to Luke Woodhouse, but if you're one of the top seeds and you're looking at the draw, Luke's one of the players you'd probably think that's not a bad draw. That's probably bottom half of the qualifiers. But yeah, I'm gonna go Damon Heta. I just think he's just a stronger player. And yeah, I just think this is a good it's a good time for him. I feel like he's playing some good stuff. I had a look at some stats the other day. He is, as far as this year goes, he is the straightest dart player. He misses the 20 the least out of everyone. Which I thought was quite an interesting stat. But yeah, I'm just going to say Damon Heta. I think he wins this first one. I think he could have quite a deep run as well. I think his quarter's quite nice for him. But we'll see. I'm going to throw you a question which we haven't discussed, which says completely off the top of the head. If there is a 9-darter in the first round, who do you think it's going to?
Oh, yeah, I know we were talking about this off air, weren't we? God. Oh, that's a tough one. I'm just looking at the players that I've got to win the first round because that's going to give them more of a chance. Let's go Gerwen Price. I know he likes going for tops first start. We'll go with the Iceman.
Yeah, I like it. I was thinking about this question as we were recording, and I kept being drawn towards Stephen Bunting. So I'm gonna go Stephen Bunting. But guys, that is our predictions for the World Grand Prix. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Put your predictions in the comments as well. Leave a like on the video and subscribe. Cheers, Alex.
Thank you very much. Good luck with your predictions.
Cheers, guys. Have fun. See you later. Bye-bye.